So we're going to begin with every panelist doing a short presentation, and we're going to begin by having them introduce themselves and talk with us. Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmin. I am of the Algonquins of Kucheran First Nation, and I'm also from Hamilton, Ontario, and I'm so pleased. Yeah! Love it! Got you. I'm so pleased to be here with you all in the room today, and congrats to Ben and Riley for inviting me. I am also a little remiss to be doing this presentation on my own, and would just like to acknowledge my partners. So what I'm here to talk to you today is building Òdena. The word Òdena in Anishinaabe-Mowen means city, nation, or community. So in talking about this, to make it for a simple translation, we're going to talk about building community. And before we dive right into it, I'd like to draw your attention to the word Òdena. The prefix of the word Òdena is okay. In the language, that means heart. So I want you guys to kind of like stick that in your back pocket, and then we're going to unpack that a little bit. Great. So I'm here representing the Sweetgrass Sisters Collective, which is an Indigenous collective in Hamilton, Ontario. And what we do, we work to empower and acknowledge the diverse Indigenous community of the city of Hamilton through arts and culture. Our goal is to provide Indigenous and non-Indigenous people in Hamilton with access to Indigenous-led programming, networking, and community-building opportunities. So how do we do that? So we achieve our mission by partnering with Indigenous and non-Indigenous organizations who share our values and goals to present two things. So the first one being our annual Howling Winds Festival, which is a celebration of Indigenous arts and culture and performance, as well as a slew of cultural workshops and presentations that are all rooted in traditional knowledge. Pretty cool, huh? So when myself and Jessica initially launched the collective last year, around this time last year, we were thinking about our number one objective, and that being creating a safe and inclusive space for all participants. In order to do that, we had to first and foremost figure out what safe and inclusive meant. What did it mean to us? What did it mean to our Òdena? So we came up with a list of different values and essentially ways in which we want to treat one another. We came up with things such as trust, generosity, equality, compassion, positivity, and love. These values help guide the way in which we launch and lead the collective with our inaugural beat-a-thon. So this photo that's up there, that's a photo from our launch. The most exciting night ever, just to give you a little context to that. So at this launch, we were humbled to be able to partner with a local shop called Nelstel, wherein we invited friends, you and Òdena, to participate in a workshop wherein we made medicine pouches. And for those of you who don't know what a medicine pouch is, I'm wearing one right now. So medicine pouches such as this one are created with thought and intention, much like the story of Copperwood, which I'd like to share with you right now. On a mountain sat Copperwoman, sorting through her trinkets and belongings, deciding which to place inside the medicine pouch she was about to make. She was being very intentional about which items would be destined for this pouch, as the pouch was to be made of her skin, blood, and bones of her very own body. As it was a difficult decision to make, she decided to make the pouch first and select the items second. She used the skin of her back as the backing of the pouch, as it offered protection. As it was long and wide, and it offered resilience and stability. She carved the bone of her breastplate to reinforce the bottom of the pouch as it offered protection. She cut strips from her legs, arms, and womb to make sinew to sew the pouch together so that the sinew would enable the pouch to be flexible and strong. She collected the blood from her wounds to dye the pouch red. With all those aspects, once the pouch was completed, she wore it across her chest and more specifically across her heart. To her dismay, she realized the pouch was too small to carry her sacred items, so she cried. And as she cried and her tears fell onto the pouch grew larger and larger until it engulfed the mountain of which she sat, and it engulfed the sky, the earth, and the universe. From there, Frater reached down and opened the pouch. And what he found was not the earth, the mountain, the sky. It was the heart of Copper Woman. And in reality, the pouch had been made not from her skin and bones of her body, but from her heart. So now rewinding to this Eden bottom launch to building Òdena and thinking about the Òdè, the heart. When we did this initial event launch, it wasn't about the logistics. It wasn't about everyone being on time. It wasn't even about the content of which we were participating in. It was about the love in the room. It was about the strides that we took in opening this community and opening it with heart. And in any successful community, I believe that's where we need to start from. But